7 on TSN 690. Time to talk a little Major League Baseball playoffs with our next guest. The music can mean only one thing. We're going to cottage country in the Toronto region from TSN 1050. Cauz 56 on Twitter if you want to follow him there. He's probably still in his Blue Jays pajamas. It is Matt Cauz. How you doing, sir?
I am not in my Blue Jays pajamas after that loss last night. I flung them off in anger. But I'm good. It's a nice morning here in Toronto.
All right. Well, hopefully there's something else on now that the pajamas are off.
Do you want to go down that road?
No.
But best for your listeners.
All right.
It's a good thing radio is not a visual medium.
No, not at all. Matt, great game last night, though, huh? I mean, the pitching on both sides. This is what the playoffs are about.
Yeah, I mean, the pitching was great, and I'd say that it's funny. Marco Estrada was a better pitcher last night than Kluber. It's a shame the Jays wasted that. But yes, I mean, to the first premise, the pitching was great on both sides. I mean, if you wanted to see guys at their best, you saw that yesterday. Just the movement, Kluber on the sinker, and then same thing with Estrada, where he was fooling guys all over. I mean, the one home run was on an 0-2 pitch after giving up a walk that maybe shouldn't have been, but that's we're not going to complain about the home plate umpire. And so, the pitching was great, and it's kind of what you expected, certainly from Cleveland, with both Kluber and a great bullpen. So in that way, it was a very clean, efficient game.
Matt, Devin Travis leaves the game. He's going to have an MRI on his knee. How significant is this in reality for the Blue Jays?
It's not the most significant because it's not like he's a guy that, that they desperately rely on. I think the only issue is, first off, I don't think he's coming back. I mean, you can see it right away, the one play before he got pulled out, that he was limping around. The issue is when the Jays, when they beat Texas, they were able to get some contributions from other guys at the plate. And you're going to need that against Cleveland. You're going to need other guys to be a hero if the Bautistas and Donaldsons and Edwins aren't getting it done. So you're certainly going to miss Devin Travis's bat, but it's not a devastating injury for the Blue Jays.
I mean, it's kind of self-explanatory. I think we've all, probably everybody in here, probably at some point or another had a drone-related problem.
That's Terry Francona talking about his pitcher Trevor Bauer, who hurt or cut his finger doing maintenance on his own personal drone, and that'll push him back a day or a game, I should say, as the starting pitcher for Cleveland.
Can we talk about, first off, good for baseball for once again leading the league in the weirdest injuries. And usually it's injuries that make baseball players feel shame. Guys injure themselves picking up luggage and, blisters, and they cut themselves in a whole bunch of different ways. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm glad he got injured with a drone. I think drones are creepy. Just flying around, you can put cameras on them, invasion of privacy. I think it's time we ban all drones. I hope this is a message to the young kids out there to avoid drones because they will hurt you.
It sounds like somebody's been flying a drone over your cottage. Is that the case? Is that the reason?
Actually, there once was a drone somewhere way up high in the sky, and doesn't it seem weird? Doesn't it seem like something that just should? I mean, we're always concerned about security, and yet, people can go buy one of these drones. I don't know. It feels inconsistent to me.
You are right about the baseball freak accidents. I think I remember, was it in the late 80s or early 90s, was Bobby Ojeda, a pitcher with the Mets, hurt his finger or something mowing his lawn. I mean, there's been all kinds of
There's been manicure-related injuries. I mean, it's the worst thing for baseball players if they want to be thought of as athletes, and yet guys are missing playoff games because they were tinkering with their drone. which sounds kind of dirty, actually, in a way, if you take that sentence.
Now, in Toronto, are people paying attention at all to the National League playoffs, or no?
No. I mean, basically here it's all Blue Jays, all Austin Matthews. That's kind of where the bent is. I think there will be some just because it is the Cubs. And, I mean, a dramatic – it's the Dodgers on the other side, which is a major market. So I think there'll be some draw, but it's only going to be for the hardcore.
All right. Speaking of Austin Matthews, 4 goals in his first game. Why wasn't he on the top?
Oh, did he have 4 goals in his first game? I'm glad you brought that up.
Why was he not on the top 100 Leafs of all time?
It's a travesty. It's clearly a case of ageism. Once again, the war on millennials continues by the older establishment, and I think it needs to be rectified. I'm not saying he should be number one, but I think you should at least be in the top 5. Who's Keon, Bauer? Who are these people?
Ty Domi made the list.
Matthews.
I mean, that's a bit of a people are laughing outside of Toronto on that one, but in any event.
How funny would it have been if they just decided to put Austin Matthews at number 100?
That would be
just
amazing.
Like, all right, one game, screw it, we're throwing him on, which would be a horrible, I mean, actually, all it would be is just a message about how bad the history of the Maple Leafs have been if Austin Matthews made the list after one game.
Hey, Matt, Dave Trentadue here in studio put up a poll at like 7 o'clock this morning, not a physical poll, but, online on Twitter, about Connor McDavid. 6 points in 2 games. I mean, just unbelievable. Dave, what are the results so far?
Yeah, so I asked what everyone's expectations were for Connor McDavid. 215 votes so far. 53% believe that he'll get between 85 and 100. So the majority think between 85 and 100. And in second place, it's more than 100 points, 30%.
Yeah, I'm in that category, Matt. I know it's only 2 games. I can't imagine him not getting 100 points.
If he's healthy, he gets over 100 points. It's as simple as that. And I know that's a really cowardly hedge I just did by saying if he stays healthy. If he plays between 78 and 82 games, he gets over 100 points. I mean, as much fun as we're having with Austin Matthews, Connor McDavid, by the end of the year, I think will be considered the best player in the NHL.
It's a lot. I've heard this from a lot of Montrealers. Speaking of Matthews in Toronto, they're kind of feeling guilty or annoyed that Toronto's become a team that you want to watch on television. Marner looked amazing in the first game.
Yeah.
William Nylander as well looked phenomenal. I mean, there's got to be just an absolute rabid excitement about this team.
There is, and I mean, think about it. How long? Toronto's never had this. Toronto's never had this collection of young talent with potential. And listen, we don't know how good any of these guys are going to be, but man, are they fun. And just when Marner looked fantastic, and Nylander, you're right, all the guys look good. And what it represents is potential. It represents a good future. I mean, let's think about the Maple Leafs. When they usually make the playoffs, it would have some talent. I mean, Matt Sundin is a Hall of Famer, but it would be a lot of veterans and a lot of grit and grind, which, can get you wins, but it's not sustainable. It's not going to get you a Stanley Cup or make you a consistent playoff team. You need elite level talent. This city has never had that. Now it has the potential where it could. And for us in this city, it's different. The way I compared it is when I was a kid, the best Christmas gift I ever got was the Millennium Falcon. Like the original big hardcore Millennium Falcon.
Yep.
And I was stunned that I got it. And every night I'd go to bed and I'm like, I cannot wait to play with this the next day. That's how Leaf fans are feeling. And especially when you contrast it to last year was the most irrelevant season in the history of this team. No one cared about the result. No one cared about the on-ice product. Now we super duper care about the on-ice product, and at some point we'll start caring about the results. And look at NBC. They admitted the only reason they slated the Leafs and Bruins was because of Austin Matthews. They came out and admitted it. It's not about the team. It's not about, Boston and their tradition and these 2 teams, original 6. So they didn't lie to anyone. They said, we want to watch Austin Matthews.
And it doesn't hurt that he's American as well for their audience. They'll probably pump that side
100%. And think about Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment. They've now found a way to make more money. They've tapped into a new group, not Canadians on the fence or whether to like hockey, but Americans. They're tapping into over 300 million people, some of which actually like hockey, and they will start watching and consuming and buying Maple Leafs products because of Austin Matthews.
Yeah, well, I don't know. If it didn't happen because of Mike Myers movies, I don't know if it's going to happen moving forward, but, we'll see.
When was the last good Mike Myers movie? Let's be honest. Go look at his IMDb page. It is a disaster.
He is Matt Cauz. Wow, taking down a legend, an icon. That's amazing.
Listen, I love Mike Myers. When was the last good? I mean, after The Love Guru, where, the Leafs were heavily featured, he hasn't done it. I mean, that movie was horrible. When was the last good movie he did?
Yeah, it's a fair point. I liked the Studio 54 one. That was pretty good.
And when was that?
That was a long time ago.
That was like 15 years ago.
That's back when you were in your 40s, Matt.
I'm a ripe old age of 41. I'm a man. I'm 41.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your time. You're back on the air on Sunday or Monday, rather.
Actually, I'm taking Monday off, and I'll be on Tuesday.